Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Craps with John from ProCraps here on Casino Gaming TV, coming to you from, I'm going to say sunny Florida, but it's not been very sunny since I've been down here. We've had tons of rain. And you may have noticed that I'm not actually live. This is Memorex. This is actually 10:30 Tuesday night for a Wednesday morning show. Tomorrow I've got some appointments with my mom, so I'm not going to be able to be here live and do it. So I'm going to record tonight. And just like yesterday, I'm going to record the WinCraps piece here separate from the recording that I'm doing for I'm talking, because the computer is cylinder powered. I can't do both at the same time. It'll just crash. So record this part here, then we'll jump into WinCraps. So I'm not going to be there to chat with you during the show like I like to be on premieres. And of course, can't answer your live chats, but please talk among yourself, do your thing. I'll come back and read the chats and comments later tonight. And then I will, of course, if in Discord or emails, if you want to write me separately, happy, of course, to engage with you there. Anyway, let's get on into the show here. Want to kind of dive in, and we're going to do a little bit of an update on the Craps Week here. I've got some notes and ideas for you here, things that came up today, actually, so I want to share that with you. And then we're going to continue Versus Week here on Coffee and Craps. So yesterday, we did the 3-point Molly versus the 5 count. And the purpose behind that was to find out, if waiting around makes a difference or not. Today, we're going to do another version of that. It's the Molly versus the 1 count. Now, it sounds the same. It's completely different. Both are attempts to qualify a shooter, but they come at it in slightly different ways. I'll talk about those here in just a minute. But before we do that, let's talk about Craps for the Cure, which, as you may know, is in Las Vegas, November 11th to 12th, Saturday and Sunday. I'm working on the agenda right now, the scheduling right now, which will be basically from 10 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock at night both days. We're allowed to be at Casino Quest during open hours. The mall doesn't like us being there overnight. And frankly, overnight didn't make any money anyway, so it's better to do it 2 straight up days. We got lots of cool things planned. Actually, Jeff's live tonight. If you watched Jeff last night for you, the D8 table, I jumped into the end in chat and started monkeying around with the guys. And Ed said something. I said I need swag to give away, like Jeff always gives away shirts and stuff. And Ed popped in and said, "You need to make yourself a bobblehead." So guess what I did? I made myself a bobblehead. I made a bobblehead John, and I made a Funko Pop John. Both of those are in order. I'll have pictures of those things. As soon as I get the proofs back, I'll send you guys pictures of bobblehead John and Funko Pop John. They're both ridiculous. Those will be auctioned off for sure. Other auction items I know we have are Jacob from Waging Me This is going to give away his old felt. Remember the old green Las Vegas style felt he had? I think we're going to get that from him. I will have my old felt too. My green felt with the fist and the dice coming out and the skull. That would be an auction item. Dice Doctor Dan has gotten, again, an amazing array of chip collectible display racks. He's got some good ideas for how to auction those things off. I'm going to talk to David about perhaps auctioning off a dealer scholarship, a dealer school scholarship. Other good ideas on my way too. So those are all coming, and you know that I'm working on getting all the Vegas local celebrities. Tony Leo, Garrison. If I can get them, what am I thinking of here? I lost my train of thought. Bo Parker and Howard. I can get them. I'm looking to get some casino people too, because now that I'm a host with Premiere, I have access to casino, to the Mucky Deluxe. We're going to try and get maybe a floor manager or even a casino manager in with us to talk about casino operations and some different things we don't normally get to talk about. I may even have some hosting lectures and advice for comps and that kind of stuff too. So it's going to be a pretty good educational and fun set of days. We're playing a lot of cool games. We got bingo, we got some target practice, we got some 7 spread going on. We're going to pass the rack a little bit. Much more organized than last year. We get better at it every year. This year's going to all be in person, so we'll have a better microphone setup than we've ever had. No echoes probably this time, so it should be. I think it's going to be a killer event. So, looking forward to seeing you out there. And again, if you don't have a host yet, let me know. I can hook you up with rooms for sure at Harrah's, and we'll get it all figured out. Again, if you need a host, let me know. I'm your guy. I'll get you hooked up with the right cards, with the right people, get you playing right, and help you earn some more comps for next time out too. Somebody had asked me, by the way, if it's going to be a burn on me if you stay in somewhere else. No, just get a Caesar's card, get a station card. As long as you're playing at the casinos that I represent, put some time in on the tables, they're going to give you comps. If you have a better comp somewhere else, like right now, you can go stay for free at XYZ Casino. Dude, please go stay for free. I'm not gonna push you into my stable so I can have you pay money to stay somewhere when you have comps available to your MGM or whatever else property. So do your thing, folks. But keep it in mind. This is the dates. If you're going to come, start getting plane travel now. It's going to get costly pretty quick. So there it is. There's your update for Craps for the Cure. More updates coming as I get the schedule filled out. I'll let you know, and it'll be nice because when I get the guests figured out, you can start giving me questions that you want to ask certain guests. And I can have kind of an interview sheet ready to go. Oh, Michael Shackelford has already agreed to be there. We know Michael's going to be there. He's going to be there to talk about magic. He's going to do some magic tricks for us like last year. Also, I'm going to hit him hard on a couple of things. Not like negatively, but I mean, I want to get into his head a little bit on what we're talking about here, on the 1 count, the 5 count, waiting around the play, trends, variants, all the things that we talk about that are somewhat controversial. He's an actual mathematician. I'm a pretend one. Let's get his opinion on some things. I mean, quiz him a little bit. We can deep dive in. So a lot of good guests, I think, on the plan for us to come see. So anyway, here we go. Let's jump in to kind of the meat of the matter here. And we've been doing, or started this week with a versus competition. And the first one we did yesterday was the 3-point Molly versus the 5 count. And the 3-point Molly is a standard, whatever, the normal way to play craps, right? It's what all the books talk about. It's a pass line bet, it's 2 come bets, all max odds, rolling all the time, right? That's the simple system. Yesterday we did the 5 count, where we basically waited for a shooter to quote unquote qualify themselves, earn our money by rolling 5 box numbers between 7s, and then getting out there and playing. Once they qualified, then we start playing. And what you saw was what I thought we were going to see, was that you have flatline. You have the Molly guy is just going all the time. He's got, he's up and down. He's going to zero. He's making $5,000. The 3 or the 5 count player is not playing. Flat, flat, flat. Goes in, makes a bunch of money. Flat, 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 flat. Goes in, loses a bunch of money. And is very like not playing and has the spikes still, but his spikes have these spreads between them. Sometimes that worked. There were times where that person lost less money than everybody else. There were times when the 5 count person won a little bit more. Most of the time, it ends up being about the same. If you give it enough rolls, it doesn't really matter. When I turned off the paycheck, what we saw was that they both went to zero. The Molly went to zero quick. The 5 count went to zero a little bit later. It just took them longer, but they both went to zero. When I did the paycheck version of it, they both made paychecks, but the Molly had 20 in 1,000 rolls. We stopped at 1,000 rolls. The Molly got 20 paychecks out of 1,000 rolls. So 20 wins, 20 sessions where he won or lost money. Okay, 20 decisions. The 5 count guy never got above 10. It took him that much longer to get a decision. So obviously, by not playing, you're not playing, and it takes way longer for things to happen. Ultimately, the same things happen. What we do see, and I think what you're going to see today in our next versus competition, is rhythm makes a difference, right? The 5 count is akin to one person playing and one person walking up and buying in after a point got set and starting to play later. Like he just jumps into the hand a little bit later than everybody else does. In fact, if you take one roll off, like if you let a point get established, take one roll off and then start playing, the entire rhythm of the roll is different for you. The PSO happens for you on roll 3, not roll 2. Everything is different. One roll taking off. The 5 count takes a bunch of rolls off before you get in. It doesn't matter how long you take off. It's a rhythm thing. And that's what we saw that yesterday, that the 5 count experiences the rolls in a different rhythm. Not playing didn't make a difference other than it stretches your bankroll out really far. And it stretches it out farther around the table, which I think was the goal to begin with, was to have y'all last while the dice were going around the table so that you had money left in the rack that you could shoot. That was kind of the initial impetus from it, but it's gotten sold as a way to either win more or lose, whatever. Doesn't matter. When you're not betting, it doesn't matter. When your bets are on, you're going to lose. You're going to lose the same rhythm of your bets being on as anybody else. Anyway, that's that one. Today, we're going to jump in and do a new one. Not a new one, but a new one for us called the 1 count. This comes from Dice Stock. This is from Sam Grafstein. And basically, it's this. You're going to qualify a shooter like the 5 count, but the qualification process for the 1 count is they make 1 point. So we're going to allow the shooter to make a point. We're not going to bet. until the shooter makes a point. If they make a point, now we're in. That's qualification. We go to the pass line and we start playing the molly from there. That's the difference. You wait for a person to make a shot. Again, you're waiting, not playing. You're going to see some flatlining while we wait to get ourselves into the hand, and then we start playing it. The other difference is this. The Grafstein model is a thing that I love, is on the pass line wins, we stack them. He does a progression. Now, what his progression is simple, right? We're going to go $25 pass line. We catch a come out 7, it goes to 50. We catch another come out 7, it pays 50, we go to 75 and a rack a quarter. Another come out 11 or 7, we go to 100 and rack $75. You're going to always go up by a unit down there. I like to do a more aggressive progression, but that's fine. You can just 1, 2, 3, 4, and just kind of grow your bets down there. I think what we're going to see, matter of fact, no, we're going to see when this thing wins. I think it wins for 2 reasons. One is I'm not sure the qualification part matters. Like I said, to me, not playing for a while and coming in later, you're just catching a different rhythm. That rhythm could be great for you or terrible for you. You're just picking it up at a different starting point. But I do think the stacked don'ts, or the stacked pass line bet, is a key piece. And we switched to that in our daily paycheck, and man, that thing, it got easier to win when we started doing that. We did have one rough day, but that week felt a little bit easier. Like we got more money out there in a pretty safe way. We were pulling money back the whole time too. So I like that a lot. I think that has a lot to do with how this thing does. But let's go check it out. Let's go run the video of the 1 count, and let's see how that thing performs against the regular 3-point molly. And we come back and do a quick little review with you, and then we'll call it, and I'll see you again for the next show. Here we go. All right, here we go. Another versus battle in WinCraps. So this one's going to be a 3-way, but really it's a 2-way. We're going to do the molly, like we did yesterday, versus the 1 count. That's the 2 primaries. I have an across player in here just to keep kind of a level set of what would happen if you just bet it across. And I'll show you his strategy is super simple. But yeah, he's in there just to have somebody else playing along, just to kind of get a lens on it. But let's look at their scripts to see who's going to do what. I'll remind you of the Molly player script. We'll start with them first. They will be taking full odds on every bet. And the preamble here is going to be, again, all of our variables that we keep track of for the paycheck play. So the number of decisions, win or loss, the number of wins is here, and the win percentage, the number of losses along with the loss percentage. Our win goal, again, is set to 10%, 0.1. Our loss limit is set to 1 or 100%. So it's stop loss 0 or 10%. The bet amount's going to be $25. We'll have 2 come bets in action, and we are playing for a paycheck. And once this all is just keeping track of the wins and losses up in the top section. But really down here is the molly itself. If we're on a come out roll, we're betting the pass line. If not a come out roll, we are betting the come up to 2 times. That's the whole thing. CS 3 num bets is 2, so we're going to bet 2 come bets. That's the molly. The 1 count, who is a primary target of the fight, is going to be doing the same thing. Auto taking full odds, all the same variables set up for the paycheck. We do have a new variable down here called is shooter qualified, which is currently set to 0, meaning false. Okay. And now what we say is this. So again, the same calculations happen if we're going to win or lose based on profit loss. But here's the 1 count, and I'll lean on my friend JR to make sure I've got this basically right. But here it is. If it's a new shooter, okay, and we're qualified, is going to be 0. So if you're a brand new shooter, you are not qualified. You're set to 0. Okay. If the shooter passes any pass line win, you are now considered to be qualified. So 1 is qualified, 0 is not. So if you ever make a pass line and it works, boom, you're qualified. Not works like come out 7, works like you made a point. That's what shooter passes mean. It means you made a point. So if you've made a point, you are qualified. Then we get into the meat of it. So if you are qualified and the next roll is a come out roll, okay? If pass line wins, in other words, come out 7 or 11, we're going to add the bet amount. So in our case, we're going to stack $25 on top of the pass line bet. Otherwise, just going to bet the base bet on the pass line. If the number of come bets is less than, in our case, 2, bet a come bet. Okay. Then we're going to make another assessment. It says if the pass line happens to be greater than the bet amount. Okay. So in other words, if let's say you stacked your pass line up to $50, if that's greater than 25, which is the core amount, we're going to take the odds off. So the way WinCraps works is it basically puts the odds on immediately, right? So we have to go say, nah, if we're not on a come out roll and our pass line is bigger than the base bet, take the odds off. We're not going to have odds on the pass line if the pass line bet has been increased. Now, if you have 3 come out 7s or 3 come out 11s, the pass line will end up being 75 or $100, no odds. That's the difference in the way this is played versus the Molly. So this is kind of a test of two systems here. It's going to be a test of waiting for the qualification. You'll see some flatlining, but also at the same time doing the dice doctors, let's just play the pass line straight up when it gets big versus having all the odds down there. So it's a higher base bet. That'll help us out a lot on come out winner sequences, but it won't help out much on pass line wins. Anyway, that's the 1 count person. And finally, we have the across player. He's going to basically odd handle winning bets, the same bet plus $5. He's going to add 1 unit to the win every time. It's a 1 unit bump from $25. That's his whole strategy. It's zero thinking. It's just going to be bet the bet amount on all the things, and that's really going to be it. That's the whole strategy. So here we go. There's a cross guy. There is the 1 count. There is the Molly. So here we go. Let's run them out and see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and make sure we have a new game set. We're going to say okay to all that. Everybody's bets are reset. All the players have $1,500 in the rack. The Molly guy has his $25 out. The across guy has bets out, but they're off. And here we go. Let's get let me get all the screens visible here. Here we go. Oh, wrong button. Start the drive. Let's go. You can go pretty quick on that too. And you can see sort of the 1 count has some flatlining in there. You can see, let me stop. You can see these sessions in here where the 1 count is just not, like right here, not playing. These are all waiting for qualifications to happen, all these flats. Where the Molly guy, just like yesterday, is all over the place. He's up and down with every single roll. The across guy, again, very volatile. Different spikes. He has spikes in the same spots, but not as high as the other guys. Now, as far as top wins, the Molly player, his top bankroll was $3,400, which means he won about $2,900, which is pretty good. He did lose it all at one point. The across player won about $730. His top bankroll was $2,200, and the 1 count player actually won the most money. His high bankroll was $4,225. He actually won the most. He did lose a bunch, and currently he's the lowest of them all. Looking at the totals here, the Molly player won an overall $2,275. I think maybe you can see this a little better. Hold on, let's move this up here a little bit. The Molly won $2,275 in total. The across player won $602 total. The 1 count won $1,375 in total. That takes into account any losses they may have had along the way. Let's take a look at the overall stats here. So the across player had 9 decisions, won paycheck 8 times, lost the whole $1,500 once. So he was at a decent win percentage there. The Molly player had 20 decisions. So look at the difference, right? The Molly player is so volatile, right? Versus the across player who played for basically 2 5-day weeks. The Molly player played 20 days. He played 20 days. He had 20 decisions. 3 of them were losses. 17 of them were wins, which is interesting. So 95% win rate there. And the 1 count player, again, because he's not playing, has way less decisions. This is about a week and a half worth of play. If you're going for paycheck style, you're going out there on the table to win 10% or lose it all. Only 7 days did he actually get a decision versus the Molly got a month out of it, right? It's interesting. When you look at that, like the volatility and the speed of play, and the Molly is a slow-ass system, as you know. It got 20 decisions out of the 1,000 rolls, where the 1 count got 7, which is, again, that's the benefit and the curse of the flatlining, of not playing for so many rolls. It just extends the agony a little bit. So let's reset it and get, for fairness sake, we'll do another version, another session. No, I don't want to save it. We'll go. Let's run the same test. Get all those on screen. Hold on. There it is. Here we go. Start the drive. And I'm going to turn this one off. This makes it go slower. There we go. Here we go. Now we're cruising. And again, you can see, I keep pointing at the same old thing, but the flatlining of the of the one count versus the other guys. The other guys are kind of just moving straight through. The one count's got lots of these periods where they aren't playing. The general shape of the graph is the same. They all experience the same loss pattern and the same kind of spikes. They just experience them at different times and the different amounts of money on the table. Look at this bad loss in here. And this whole section for the across better who never turns his bets off is ugliness. He's getting no benefit of the come out 7 or 11. Right? All those come outs where this guy here is probably doing some of this. He's getting no benefit from that. So how do we do here? Looks like the Molly player, their top bankroll was $28.75, so $1,300 in wins at one point. The one count had a bigger top level win, $29.25. That's pretty cool. And the across player, his best bankroll was $19.48, so $448 in wins total. This run here, they all lost. The Molly lost the most, $3,300. The across guy lost $2,100. The one count lost the least this time. This time, not playing, again, extended the bankroll for him, which is, I guess, part of the point, is to not put yourself at risk until things or conditions meet your approval. That's sort of what's going on there. So there's a good look at like all of them kind of side by side in different scenarios. We can do one more just for the hell of it. Let's just do one more, and then I'll do one or two where we just take the paycheck part off. So we're not going to save the stats. Let's go. I'm going to turn the, whoops. Let's turn that stat screen off. We did. Okay, here we go. Let's get this one. Oops. Back on screen. Boom, boom, and here we go. All right. Cruising right along. I think it's fun to watch the graphs, how they all experience this, the same rolls in different fashions. Look at that. You can see like this one spike right in here. Boom, big spike there. That's about this far in. Look at this over here. The one count guy's not even playing right there. This is that same spike. It's about right here under the numbers. See how it's like under the 0.3? Under the 0.3 at that same point in time, the one count player is actually down because he wasn't playing. But the across player got a little bit of a spike in there. And at that same point, also the Molly guy is down a little bit here, and then he gets this nice little juice. So here we go. The Molly guy wins $30,025 max, $1,500 in mass profit. About the same for the one count player. And the across player, $1,900. So he again wins. He wins the least and still loses. Their current bankroll, if we look in the, hold on, let's go back to here. Current bankroll, the Molly is up 1,000. One count's up 3. Across guys down 1,000. So again, one count this time. Last time the one count won and the Molly lost. This time the one count won a lot more, which is interesting and cool. I like that. I wonder though, how much of this is the size of the pass line bet. I really wonder, because sometimes you get those like strings that come out sevens, and the pass line could be winning you 100, 200, whatever on the come out sevens and 11s. I don't know how much of this is because of that versus the weighting. I really should put a tracker in there. Maybe next time I run this, I'll put a tracker to see how many times that thing wins. Just for curiosity's sake, how many times that won. We can maybe do that here in a little bit. Because that's interesting. I think that's one of my favorite tweaks of what the Dice Doctor does, is that rolling pass line bet. I love that increase in the pass line and hitting those trends, or the, I shouldn't say trends, the variant of the come out sevens. I love that. Let's go and turn the paycheck off real quick on all three guys. Paycheck to 0. Paycheck, this is going to be paycheck to 0 here. And the one count paycheck. And what this is going to do, this is going to roll them out until they lose their money. Remember last time we did it, and they will all just lose all their money. This way, there's no paychecks being tracked at all. Yes, save, yes, save, yes, save. No paychecks being tracked, but it will run them to 0, which is what we want to see, and it'll stop them at 0. So let's run it and see what happens with this one, and this one. Here we go. Who goes to 0 first? I'll stop the drive. They're all flatline. Boy, they all went flat quick. Look at that. I didn't catch it fast enough. They all went flat in about 500 rolls. That's terrible. Who won the most money? The across guy won about $600. The Molly guy won about $1,200, and the one count guy won about $1,750. But they're all at 0 right now. That was really quick. I didn't catch it fast enough when the flat line happened. Let me do another one of those, because that happened super quick. But interestingly enough, they all did make profit. They all did lose money. But the across player is getting his ass kicked in every battle so far. The across player has been the worst one by every measure. Just betting across in one and one betting and upping by one has been the worst. So, oops. Let's get you visible, and let's go. I'll try and catch it when it stops. Okay, there. They're all at 0. Interesting. Okay, so the Molly went to 0 first. You can see he's at 0 here. See my mouse? It's about where the 5 is. Whatever roll number that is, he's at 0. The 5 count or the 1 count guy is still playing. Matter of fact, has a little spike after that. Then he goes to 0 a few rolls later, maybe about 50 rolls later. The across guy actually lasts the longest. He doesn't go to 0 till way down over here. But they all go to 0. The across guy wins at $1,600. At one point, the Molly wins $66,675, and at one point, the 1 count wins a little more than that. You can see he wins about $900. So again, they all lose. Everything loses in the end. It's about the rate of decay. Here is a perfect example of it. The Molly loses first, the 1 count loses second, and the across guy loses third. And that's, I think, fascinating as hell. Let me go back over real quick. I'm going to try and do a quick change to the. I'm going to do a quick change to the 1 count script. I'm going to add a variable here called. Let's do CS5. I'll make him a paycheck too. Let's make it CS10.PL wins equals 0. We're just going to count the number of pass line. I'm curious about this. We're going to say if pass line wins, then we're going to say add 1 to CS10 pass line wins. Make sure I call that the right thing. PL wins. Let's call it pass line wins. Okay, so now I'm going to track that too. I'm just going to track the number of overall pass line wins that we got because I'm interested to know how much that ladder up on the pass line helps him in the paycheck. So let's go and turn the Molly also the paycheck back to 1. We'll put the cross guy paycheck back. This is a long session. I'm sorry for the length of time here, but I wanted to run that little experiment and see. So you've got a 1. Boom. Okay. Let's do a new game. Game new. Save it. Save it. Okay, here we go. Let's run it again. Put the other one live. And off we go. 1,000 rolls. 1,000 rolls. Look at that, how flat that thing is down the bottom there. All right, here we go. 1,000 rolls. Okay, let's take a look at how many times the pass line won. I want to see what happened here. So the 1 count won $3,300. The Molly won $5,100 that time. Wow, that's a huge. That must have been a great right side run here. The cross guy still won about $300 in total. That's pretty good actually. Let's go look at the check stacks here. This will give us the numbers I want to see. So the 1 count, again, 11 decisions. He was 10-1. The Molly was 17 decisions. So he was 15-17. Okay, so again, another week of play extra. The across player, was 10-10. He was 10-0. He never lost. That's pretty awesome. 10-0, 2 weeks of play. That's pretty cool. The 1 count player, do I get a sense of? He had 84. That's an 84 pass line wins. And those are going to be stacked wins. 84 stacked pass line wins. So after we stacked the money up, he won 84 times. So a lot of the profit that we're seeing here, this $3,300 in profit, a lot of that's coming from the pass line getting jacked up. I could do some more tracking in there to see how high those things got, how many 2, 3, and 4 unit wins we had on the pass line. But yeah, 84 times out of the 1,000 rolls, that person won on a stacked pass line bet. That's a pretty powerful move on a come out. So come out 11-7 with 2, 3, 4, 5 units on it. That accounts for a lot of the wins. Very, very interesting. I think that's why you see some extra high spikes in here. These quick spikes that we see are probably some pass line wins. So good stuff. Anyway, there it is. There's your 1 count versus Molly versus the across better. And again, the across better is basically same betting with a little tiny bump. So he's just going to be at the mercy of the dice, and that's it. No moving around, no power pressing, just straight up collection essentially. He fared the worst out of everybody. This particular round, he was undefeated, but most times he's the lowest total profit, and he's been the most lost. So the Molly and the 1 count have been doing good. Anyway, there's your comparison there. Again, not playing, The biggest impact is the number of decisions. It's not just that you're not winning as much, because as you can see, the one count wins as much or more than the Molly, depending on the run. It's the number of times you get a final decision. The Molly always gets 20 plus decisions. 1,000 rolls, 8 hours equals about a month of play for the Molly. That same number of rolls equals about a week or 2 weeks of play for the one count. So it cuts your number of paycheck opportunities in half, and it doubles your time at the casino to make it happen, which, as you know me, time, I feel like, is the biggest enemy we have. So there it is. There's your one count versus Molly, and we'll come back here and we'll analyze that together in just a moment. All right, so we're back. That was cool. Like I said, it's not surprising, the results. I think the amount of money this time was different. Like the last time we ran the strategies, the Molly only won, I think, $2,000 one time. Today, the good rolls, the good RNG rolls, were really good for both players. And you saw them both make an enormous amount of money. I just, whatever. I think it's a rhythm thing. I think when you wait to come in, you're just coming in at a different point, and you're still going to be playing the Molly ultimately, right? You're just delayed a bit, so you're gonna not get some of the early losses that the first guy gets, but he's gonna have won sometimes before you get in, and then you catch the loss. It's just about when it happens for you, right? All these ways of sort of, I don't know, not playing for a while, they just delay. I said it yesterday. This delay the inevitable. You're gonna go at some point broke. You're gonna catch the rhythm that you're gonna catch. Delaying it just prolongs that from happening. And that's really the main difference here. The big thing like I said, I love that stacked don't. You saw there was 80 plus wins we got from don't pass, from the line. 80 something wins on the line was amazing. That was pretty cool, actually. And I think in the regular Molly, you're not getting that. So this one here takes that aggressive stance. And I think that's a differentiator between this style of play versus the regular Molly. Regardless, it still does the same flat line. You saw the same flat line that we saw from the 5 count, just flatlining for a different reason while it's not playing. And again, if that's your thing, that's totally your thing. So we're not going to have time today for questions or comments. Obviously, I'm not live. So any PCs that you write today, I won't see here. But again, I invite you, leave a comment in the comment section or come to Discord and drop me a note in the Coffee and Craps channel on our Discord channel. And that way we can talk offline. You know, I can get with you offline. But yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you saw today as compared to the Molly itself, but also as compared to the 5 count. And hopefully you're starting to form some opinions on this style of play, on this waiting for a condition before I start making my bets. Now, what we haven't done yet is done like advanced conditionals, okay? And what I mean by an advanced conditional is things like what Charlie at DGE does, which is wait until X number of 7s and then go into this bet, or wait until we see 3 or 4 points resolved before I do that bet, or wait until I see X number of 4s, 10s, or whatever and do that. Some of you might say, after I see a 5 show up on one of the die X number of times, I start hopping things with 5s in them, or I start getting onto the 9 based on something else happening. So, or like I know some people will say, don't let a shooter beat you twice from the don't. We haven't tested that yet. We haven't put like that kind of table sniffing logic out there that says, you know, given this condition, wait to bet or go in heavy. Again, it's going to be the same. The person who's betting the don't all the time versus the person who doesn't get beat twice and then goes in a little heavier, it's going to be the same. They're still going to run into the rhythm that they run into. It's a matter of just delaying the process sometimes. Now, the don't can be a little bit more sketchy because of the come-outs, but you'll see the more of this kind of reading the table stuff that we do, and I'm going to do a lot more of this in WinCraps. I think it's interesting stuff. The more of it we do and see, you're going to see what I predict, which is one player who's playing all the time mechanically is going to go to 0, right? He's also going to make a lot more paychecks and have a couple more, you know, whackings. The guy that's waiting is going to be safe. He's still going to make paychecks. He's still going to get whacked, but about half as much as the other guy does. So where one guy makes 20 paychecks, this guy will make 8. Where one guy gets whacked 3 times, this guy gets whacked once, right? It's just compressing your play when you're playing mechanically versus stretching your play out when you're not. There's the dice that you're exposed to, or the rolls you're exposed to, you're still exposed to the same number of rolls. Whether you see them in a row or spread out based on your conditions, it doesn't really matter. Ultimately, WinCraps kind of proves that out. You can see how that works with the Molly. You can see how that's working out with the different count systems, right? Waiting to come in doesn't matter, right? You catch your own rhythm, whether you waited for it or not. You're still catching your own rhythm. And your own rhythm might be one exposure every 6 rolls versus 6 exposures in a row. The dice will get you. The dice will get you every single time. So that's my final thoughts. Again, I said it yesterday. I'll keep saying it. If you want to play it safe, and what I mean by playing it safe is put your money at risk less often so you can survive the table as it comes around to you getting the dice. Don't do the 5 count, do the 1 count. It's cool. If you want to just, if it feels like the table's going shitty, and you go, I want to skip a person and get some rhythm. We'll let the shooter just, I want to relax a minute, catch a different rhythm and come in a minute. Cool, right? 5 count, 1 count doesn't save you from something bad. It just delays you from coming in, and you might just hopscotch it. You might just miss the whack, right? And then come on in and catch just a better set of results just by jumping in at a different point in time on that timeline. So think of it that way. I don't think of these things as qualifying a shooter or as protecting myself from the cold table. I look at it as just jumping into a different point in space-time. You want to look at it that way. And that can mean everything sometimes. And you saw that today, right? It can mean when you jump in, it can mean a lot. Anyway, there it is. Final thoughts. That's it for today, folks. Again, thanks for being here. I know it wasn't live today, but I appreciate your time. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your feedback. I appreciate the passion that you all bring. The people who are in love with these conditional-based systems are really passionate about it, and I think it's cool. Put your feet in the ground, dig into it, lean into it, push back on me all you want to. I love it. It gives me content. It gives me things to talk about. It gives me reasons to write WinCraps code and try things out. And frankly, it gives us a reason to talk every day and have some fun. So ultimately, that's what it's about, right? I am a professor, I guess, right? I'm the math guy, but I'm not always right. I just have my opinions, and I read the data that we see, form my opinions based on the data that I see, and my way of playing is to just play. And that's what I got to say about that. You play the way you want to play, as long as you're being safe, as long as you have discipline, as long as you care about your money, you manage it well. As long as you're playing with money, you're okay with losing. I'm down with whatever you want to do. And I can't wait to see you on Vegas to play together live, and we can hash it out at a real table. And until then, I will see you tomorrow. God bless y'all, and have a great day.